Once again, I welcome in the class of hydraulic engineering. So today I will discuss what is control section, and then how to draw the flow profile when there is a change in grade or change in bed slope. And after that I will discuss the how to compute the length of the gradually varied flow, and also discuss the limitation of gradually varied flow. So let us discuss about the control section. So control section is defined as the relationship between the discharge and depth of flow. Weir, spillway, sluice gate, change in grade, change in roughness, characteristics, and change in channel geometry are control section. In subcritical flow has control section in downstream, while supercritical flow have control section in the upstream side. Similarly, when flow changes from supercritical to subcritical, hydraulic jump will form, and when flow changes from subcritical to supercritical, no jump will form, and critical depth is controlled section. And here I have written that the mild slope is greater than the milder slope, and similarly steeper slope is greater than at compared to the steep slope. Let us discuss the analysis of flow profile when there is change in slope of bed. So how to draw the flow profile when there is a change in grade or change in bed slope. So we know that the critical depth depends only the discharge of the depends only the discharge, so the critical depth line will be same. So critical depth does not depends on the slope of bed of channel, it depends only on the discharge. So let us draw the first profile, that is when slope changes from mild to milder. And one thing we have to remember for the entire flow profiles, when there is a change in slope of bed, flow will always from normal NDL to NDL. So let us assume the let firstly discuss the slope of the mild is greater as compared to the milder. So let us assume uh, let us make this is the mild and then milder, and this is the mild slope, and this is the control section. This slope is mild and this is milder, and critical depth line will be same. So this is the critical depth line. In case of mild, the normal depth is less as compared to the, let us assume this is the NDL. So now this is the NDL in case of milder. So flow is always from NDL to NDL. So from here to here, so we have to move like this, and then it will be. So in region 1 there is a profile of M1. So it will be the flow profile is M1. Here we have seen that the flow move from NDL to NDL. So in region 1 there will be the slope of M1, because we have to go from this NDL to this NDL. So rising curve is required, and in region 1 the M1 profile is possible. So here we can see that M1 profile is possible. Let us draw the second profile, that is milder to mild. So we know that we have discussed that the slope of milder is less as compared to the mild. So let us assume this is milder and this is mild. So this section is called control section, where change in grade. So this is the control section, and as I told you that this is milder and this is mild. Critical depth line will be same. So let us assume this is CDL, because it only depends on the discharge. So this is the normal depth line, and in this this is the normal depth line. So flow will always move from NDL to NDL. So if I draw the flow profile, so it will come like that, and it will be like that. So this is M2. So flow profile possible here is M2. Similarly, if I draw the slope of steeper, so as I told you that steeper has more slope as compared to the steep. So let us assume this is steep and this is steeper, and this is the control section. This slope is steep and this is steeper. Critical depth line will be fixed. So this is the critical depth line. This is CDL, and normal depth line will below the critical depth line in steep slope. So let us assume this is the normal depth line. This is the normal depth line, NDL. This is also NDL. So the flow will profile possible from NDL to NDL. So it will come like that. So this will be S2. Similarly, steeper to steep. So steeper slope will be more as compared to the steep. This is the normal depth line. This is critical depth line, and it will be constant. And normal depth line, this is the normal depth line. This is NDL. This is also NDL. So it will be from NDL to NDL. So this region is first, second, third. So it will not be the increasing curve. So this slope is steeper and steep. So if I draw this, so flow will always from NDL to NDL. So it will like that, and then it will be increasing curve. So this is S3. Now I am going to draw the flow profile for mild and steep. So we know that the steep slope is greater as compared to the mild slope. So if I draw, this is mild slope, and this is steep slope. So if I draw the critical depth line, so this is CDL, and in mild NDL is above the CDL. This is the NDL, and in steep NDL is below the CDL. So this is NDL. This is mild. This slope is steep. So flow will always move from NDL to NDL. So if I move from here to, so this is decreasing curve, and once again it is decreasing. So it will be like that, and then so this will be M2 and S2. So flow profile will be M2 S2. Similarly in steep mild, so steep slope is more as compared to the mild. This is steep. This is the control section. So in steep slope, let us assume this is the critical depth line. So this is the critical depth line, and in steep slope, normal depth line is below the critical depth line. So this is the normal depth line, and here this is the normal depth line. So all flow always move from, this is steep and this is mild. So firstly it will be, this region is first, so NDL, so there are two possibility. Either when flow changes from supercritical to subcritical, then it will be form a hydraulic jump. So let us assume this is the hydraulic jump. This is the hydraulic jump, and then it will be move from like this. This is S1, and it will be reached to the NDL. And the second possibility is whether it will be increasing curve. So this will be like that. This is M3, and then hydraulic jump will form. So two possibilities are there, whether it is hydraulic jump or S1 or M3 hydraulic jump. So if I draw the adverse to mild slope, so the adverse slope have the negative slope. So let us assume this is the adverse slope. It has negative value of slope, and this is the mild slope. And this is the break in grade line. The slope is called adverse. And this is mild. This is the critical depth line. CDL, NDL. So the slope will be either A2 so it will like that, so it will be A2. Similarly in horizontal steep slope, so in horizontal slope we have the bed slope value will be 0, and then it is steep slope. And this is the control section. So in horizontal channel, this is the critical line, depth line. This is the CDL, and in steep slope, this is steep slope, this is horizontal slope. So critical, below critical depth line there is a normal depth line. So what will happen? It will look like this. This is H2, and then it is S2. This is H2, S2. H2, S2. Now I am taking the three types of flow: mild, horizontal, steep. So mild, horizontal, steep. So there is a two control section. So if I draw the critical depth line, this is mild, horizontal, steep. Just assume this is the critical depth line. This is CDL. This is the NDL. And this is the NDL. So if I draw the profile, so it will be, firstly it will be increasing curve. It will be like that. Now it has decreased. Once again it is decreases. So it will be S2, H2, M1. So the profile will be M1, H2, S2. Similarly, if I draw mild, steeper, steep. So mild, steeper, steep. This is mild, steeper, steep. So if I draw the critical depth line, so this is the critical depth line and this is the normal depth line. So if I draw the flow profile, so it will be NDL to NDL. Flow will be moved from NDL to NDL. It will be like that. And then here is S2 and once again it is, so it will be M2, S2, S3. So it will be M2, S2, S3. Flow profile will be there. Now it is adverse to steep. So let us assume this is adverse and this is steep. Adverse, steep. So I draw the critical depth line. So this is the critical depth line and this is the normal depth line. So it will be, let us assume this is the level of water. So it will be S2, A2. Now I am going to discuss the how to compute the gradually varied flow computation. So there are three methods. The first one is direct integration method, numerical methods and graphical methods. Indirect integration method, that is also called Chau's method, for wide rectangular channel, and numerical method is generally used for direct step method and graphical solution for both prismatic and non-prismatic channel. Direct step method does not involve trial and error, and it is applicable to the prismatic channel, and it can be computed by the simplest differential equation, and the change in length can be computed as change in specific energy divided by S naught minus SF bar, where SF bar is the average friction slope and S naught is the bed slope, and SF bar is the sum of SF1 plus SF2 by 2. Let us assume this is the slope, and I have cut it into various parts, and let us assume the length is delta xi. So this delta xi can be computed as by the table. I have taken like y1, y2, y3, y4, y5 and computed the area A1, A2, where A1 is B into y1, B into y2, B into y3, B into y4 and B into y5 respectively. Hydraulic radius can be computed as area by perimeter. What is perimeter? So perimeter for this one is B plus 2y1, and similarly for this one, so it will be B plus 2y2, B plus 2y3. Similarly, hydraulic radius can be computed, and velocity can be computed as discharge per unit area, and energy can be computed as y plus b square by 2g. For this E1, y1 plus b1 square by 2g. Similarly, E2 is equal to y2 plus b2 square by 2g, and so on and so forth can be computed. Change in specific energy can be computed as this E2 minus E1, that is the delta E1. Similarly, delta E2 is E3 minus E2. Similarly, E4 minus E3 and E5 minus E4. This SF1 friction slope can be computed as by Manning's equation. We can apply the Manning's equation and we can compute the SF1. V is equal to 1 by n r to the power 2 by 3 SF1 to the power half. So with the help of that we can compute SF1, SF2, SF3, SF4 and SF5. Similarly, the average value can be computed as, that is SF1 bar, that is SF1 plus SF2 by 2. Similarly, SF2 plus SF3 by 2, that is SF2 bar. Similarly, SF3 bar is SF3 plus SF4 by 2, and SF4 bar is SF4 plus SF5 by 2. Now S0 minus SF bar can be computed, and once we have computed the S0 minus SF1 bar, so delta X1 can be computed by just change in specific energy, that is delta E1 or E2 minus A1 divided by S0 minus SF1 bar can be computed. Here SF bar SF is V square, just Manning's equation we can compute the, and once we have computed completed this table, so we can compute the value of delta x1, delta x2, delta x3, delta x4, and then cumulative value can be computed to compute the change in length. So let us take one problem. Determine the length of backwater curve caused by an afflux of 1.5 meter in rectangular channel of width 50 meter and depth 2 meter. Assume S0 is 1 by 2000 and Manning's roughness is 0.03. So here width is given, that is 50 meter, and initial depth is 2 meter. Initial depth is 2 meter and afflux of 1.5 meter, so can be computed. A1 is equal to, this value is y1, so it will be 50 into 2, that is 100 meter square. Similarly, if I make this, so let us assume this is, and so the flow profile will be like that. It is like that increasing. This value is 1.5 meter and this afflux is 1.5 meter. This is 2 meter. This is 2 meter. So we have to find the delta x. So E1 can be computed as y1 plus v1 square by 2g, and q can be computed as 1 by n ar to the power 2 by 3 into s to the power half. So here a1 we have computed, perimeter p1 is b plus 2y1, so 50 plus 2 into 4, so it will be 54 meters. So hydraulic radius is a1 by p1, 100 by 54, so it will be 100 by 54, 100 divided by 54, so it will be 1.85 meter. 1.85 meter. So E1 can be computed as y1 by v1 square by 2g, or we can write y1 plus q square by 2g a1 square. So according to Manning's equation, q is equal to 1 by n a r to the power 2 by 3 s naught to the power half. So with the help of that, we can compute q is 1 by Manning's roughness coefficient is 0.03, so it will be 0.03 into area is 100 into hydraulic radius is 1.85 to the power 2 by 3 into s naught. S naught is 1 by 2000, so it will be 1 by 2000. So can be computed as 100 into 1.85 to the power 2 divided by 3 into 1 divided by 0.03 into square root of 2000. So it will be 112.325 meter cube per second. So E1 can be computed as E1 is equal to y1 plus q square by 2g a1 square. So it will be y1 is 2 plus 112.325 whole square divided by 19.62 into a1. a1 is 100 square. So it will be 2 plus 112.325 whole square divided by 19.62 into 100 square. So it is 2.06 meter. 2.06 meter. Similarly, at section 2, y2 is 2 plus 1.5. So it will be 3.5 meter. So A2 is 3.5 into 50. 3.5 into 50. So it will be 175 meter square. 175 meter square, and perimeter is 50 plus 2 into 3.5. So it will be 57 meter. So R2 can be computed as A2 by P2. So 175 divided by 57. So it is 3.07. 3.07 meter. So E2 can be computed as y2 plus q square by 2g a2 square. So y2 is 3.5 plus 112.325 whole square divided by 19.62 into a2. a2 is 175 whole square. So it will be 3.5 plus 112.325 whole square divided by 19.62 into 175 whole square. So it will be 3.52 meter. 3.52 meter. So delta x can be written as change in energy. So it will be delta x can be written as delta x is equal to E2 minus E1 divided by S naught minus SF bar. So SF bar can be computed as, according to Manning's equation, Q is equal to 1 by N A average into R average to the power 2 by 3 into SF bar to the power half. So it will be 112. Discharge is 112.325. 112.325 is equal to 1 by Manning's roughness is 0.03. So it will be 0.03 into average, area of average. So it will be A1 plus A2 by 2 into R1 plus R2 by 2 to the power 2 by 3 into SF bar to the power half. So it will be 112.325 into 0.03 into 2 into 2 to the power 2 by 3 is equal to A1 plus A2. So A1 is 100 plus A2 is 100 A1 is 100 and A2 is 175. So it will be 175 into R1 plus R2. So hydraulic radius R1 is 1.85. So it will be 1.85 plus R2 is 3.07. So 3.07 to the power 2 by 3 into SF bar to the power half. So SF bar is equal to 112.325 into 0.03 into 2 into 2 to the power 2 by 3 divided by 275 into 1.85 plus 3.07 to the power 2 divided by 3 square. So it will be 1.808 into 10 to the power minus 4. So delta x can be computed as delta x is equal to E2 minus E1 divided by S0 minus SF bar. So E2 is 3.52. So it will be 3.52 minus E1. E1 is 2.06. So it will be 2.06 divided by 1 by 2000 minus SF bar. SF bar is 1.808 into 10 to the power minus 4. 808 into 10 to the power minus 4. So it will be 3.52 minus 2.06 divided by 1 divided by 2000 minus 1.808 into 10 to the power minus 4. So it will be 4573.93 meter. So it will be 4.57 kilometer. 4.57 kilometer is the answer. This is the limitation of the gradually varied flow. So this method is applicable only for prismatic channel, and error increases with increase in length of gradually varied flow.